Good morning. I want to go over the Annotated Bibliography final draft assignment with you. So on the AB1 drafts, excuse me, I looked at everyone's drafts from the AB1 draft and I sent those back with corrections on formatting, on your header information, and also basic comments about how to include summary and analysis, making sure you get all the parts in place. On this Annotated Bibliography Draft 2, I have responded in comments only because I'm only going to show you formatting once. Look at the drafts I sent back and get the formatting correct. So you will have all of next week to finish that third source on your own. You are responsible for making sure that it is formatted correctly, that you include all the pieces, and you'll put all three together and submit it in a clean final version. So just to reflect on this here, we're talking about three sources here, and together they are worth 100 points. Look over this rubric here so that you know how you're going to be counted for this stuff. Also, some of these, I mentioned this in other places, but some of these videos might be a little outdated based on the fact that we are using MLA 8th now and not MLA 7th. But I want to look at the example. It is updated, and just show you again what a final copy of this would look like, and also what an annotation should include. So this particular student, Jane Doe, is writing about gay marriage. I'm not really sure. I think she's arguing for it. And so she has her three sources here. The first two sources came out of an anthology, okay? And then the third source that she picked came from ProQuest. And so let's just look at what a good annotation includes, okay? In this journal article, Susan Schell argues that while the gay marriage issue usually comes down to moral position, it is really a political issue that a liberal democratic society should be opposed to. So first sentence should do three things. It should tell what type of source. So when we say that, you do not need to repeat the title by any means. It's right there. We can see it. The reason why we want to type of source is because you could have a video up here. You could have a magazine. You could have a book. Most of you guys are using journal articles because those are credible sources generally. And so, most annotations should simply start with "in this journal article." Go ahead and identify the author, and then give a quick summation of what is going on in this particular source. So Susan Schell argues that while the gay marriage issue usually comes down to moral position, it is really a political issue that a liberal democratic society should be opposed to. The next several lines, the bulk of the annotation, should be an objective summary. If you do not remember how to summarize, or if you would just like some reminders, turn to section A1 in a writer's reference. And on page 64, I believe, yes, page 64, you have guidelines for summary. So, Schell argues that marriage is based in the idea of generation. This is quoted because this is a word that she uses, i.e. the joining of heterosexual partners for procreation and child rearing. Because of this definition, homosexual couples cannot fit the traditional concept of marriage. She compares the rules surrounding marriage with those of death, funerals, treatment of corpses, etc. She explains that just as the dead cannot attend their own funerals, homosexual couples cannot fit into the traditional model of marriage. Schell offers solutions to this issue through expanding the definition of civil union, allowing homosexual couples fair adoption rights, limiting marriage to heterosexual couples, and defining marriage in terms of mutual parental responsibility. Notice that when these specific quotes and phrases from the author were used, that the page numbers were included. And then this is just, a summation of the article. So this is the summary here. Now we can get into some analysis. Schell offers what appears to be a third side to the gay marriage argument. She is fair in acknowledging her opposition, and she makes excellent points in how a liberal government should not change laws to favor a single sect. However, her argument is not convincing. She attempts to prove that marriage is wholly tied to procreation, but that is a limited view of marriage considering all the couples who do not have children. I can use this article in my argument paper to show that arguments against gay marriage are weak. So that is analysis. This is when you look at the message, when you look at how the author gets his or her message across. You know, is the argument convincing? Are there statistics or research studies that back up whatever the author is saying? Please notice that the citations start on the left margin, but they are a hanging indent, and you can do that by going to paragraph and hanging. Okay, the annotation. So this right here is a citation. And then this is the annotation. All of this, the annotation is 1 inch left margin. You will alphabetize these by author's last name. That's why Colson comes first. Notice that it is fine to go ahead and go to the next page with your annotation, but immediately start your second one. There are no extra spaces. The only rule we have when it comes to spacing on annotated bibliographies is that, let's say you got to the end of your page and you had an annotation that you were ready to start, but it was going to split the citation. Sorry, it is not okay to split the citation. For instance, you can't put Susan Shell, the liberal case against marriage, on one line, on one page, and then on the next page put 3 to 16. No, if that's the case, hit enter and come on down and start your citation. So don't split citations. But if I had this full citation right here, that's fine, and then my annotation would just start on the next page. So long story short, no extra spaces between these paragraphs and these citations unless you are in danger of splitting a citation. In that case, you would go ahead and put the whole citation together. This is a citation here. This is a citation here, and the paragraphs are called annotations. So please work very hard to make sure that your final document is clean, that it has all the formatting is correct, because you will be counted off for this formatting. And also proofread, read your annotations aloud to make sure that they sound right. Look for issues of punctuation, spelling, and that sort of thing. I hope this helps as you continue working on your annotated bibliographies. And we are going to we're transitioning from the research portion into the writing portion over the next week. Thank you.